All right, Mr. Steve Frey, you are the incumbent for Clinton County Council District 2.
Yes.
I'm going to start out by asking a little bit about who you are. So how long have you been here in Clinton County?
69 years.
69 years.
Yes.
And what do you do for a living?
Well, I have done multiple things through my life. Car salesman, been in the appliance business, yard goods business, been in the real estate business now since 1985, and also owned the credit bureau collection agency from 1985 to 2006, in which at that time we sold the agency to Beardsley and Company, so they operate Crosby Square Limited now.
Very cool. And where did you go to school?
Went to school at Frankfort High School.
Awesome. What year did you graduate?
Wow, that's good. 1963.
All right. And why did you decide to get into politics?
Well, having always been very involved in the community as a salesman and meeting many different people and so on, I had the interest in what was going on, and so what you do, you get involved, and one thing leads to another. Through the years I've served on church boards and United Way and Chamber and all those type of things through the years, and politics just seemed to roll after that.
Got it. Now, you've been on the county council 20 years.
Will be 20 years December 31st, yes.
Okay. So you're looking for a 6th term, right?
Looking for another term, yes.
So, as someone who's served alongside multiple administrations and several combinations of council members, I was wondering what you've learned about the office that you hold. What do you know today that you didn't know when you first took office?
Well, one of the things that the reason why government costs so much is because it is a evolving change of people, and the learning curve starts over and over and over again. And that's one thing that being incumbent, you bring to the table is the fact that, hey, we've tried this is what worked, let's look at it again. Times have changed a little bit, maybe it's time to relook at things. There was a time, and for instance, is going back many years ago, Eastside Drainage, actually was stopped by some people because they wanted the moisture in the water area out there. So as that time changes, it's an appropriate time that we've gotten that problem hopefully fixed. It seems to have been. We've had a couple of heavy rains, and obviously we had a heavy snow and a lot of melt, but the situation's handled well now, and we have a surveyor that's really on top of drainage problems and understands the drainage business, and we got fantastic things going on, I'd say, in the county drainage-wise.
So what do you have to do as a council member to stay on top of those changes over the years?
Well, just being involved in the community, you see many of those things taking place, and people's priorities change as time goes on, and different things. I mean, government unfortunately operates as reactive instead of proactive, and so many times, and it's hard to stay out there in front of it. But another, for instance, is 200 West out here, which is, to those that don't know, is the Zachary Road and so on, and that road's been redone from 28 to 0, which is the beam plant road, as it's known, in one phase, and now the other phase, or second phase, is getting ready to move from 0 to State Road 39 North, curving there south of the cemetery and bringing it over, which will enhance the truck traffic going north. And coming from the south, it brings traffic both from the landfill, but ADM handles a terrific amount of farm traffic from the north.
Got it. So tell me a little bit about your opponent then, Jake Myers. He's currently a member of the Frankfort City Council, has been since 2012. We already talked about the fact that you have 20 years of experience on the county council. Other than that, what do you think that you bring to the table that Mr. Myers does not?
Well, hopefully I bring 20 years of wisdom and to the table. Mr. Myers is a nice guy. I know he's a city policeman. Never had really any conflicts with him or with the police department personally myself. You know, he comes from a nice family, and the family has been very involved in county government through the years.
Okay. So let me ask a specific question about this past calendar year with your work on the county council. The council, as the fiscal body for the county government, is responsible for the budget, and as you know, this year's budget came back from the state with an order to reduce it by about $710,000. Why was that step necessary? What was it that the council missed?
You know, there's always the desire out there for the wish list, as all county office holders and people give as what they need or what they want. The council obviously has to pare it back to a number. And one of the things that's really been difficult in the last few years is estimating revenues coming in, as they have continually reduced from the property tax cap. A year ago they took the inheritance tax away, and of course everybody in their own savings plan has seen the interest rates drop to nothing. And there was a time where Clinton County, with the investments and so on, would bring in $500,000 to $700,000 just in interest, which there again would have taken care of the shortfall. That last year's interest income was somewhere in the $60,000 area. You know, other things that we've done that's been really good for the community is, one, adding paramedics in the EMS, but at the same time that increased that cost of EMS from what used to be about a $700,000 budget to $1.2 million to $3 million area. So those have been areas that make it difficult to budget around, and you know, one of the things that's been added through the years has been the Lowett tax, and Lowett has been able to provide some police cars, an ambulance, and money going to central dispatch. So, you know, while we should not have been off that much, we knew we were very tight, and wanted to see what the State Board of Accounts had to say about it. It came back a little higher than we had anticipated at the time, but we worked our way through it, and there was no jobs lost by it.
But the council did have a projected revenue. Obviously, as you said, it's difficult to calculate a number, but you settled on a number and then passed a budget that, if I recall correctly, was $229,000 over.
Which we thought that's what the number was. And remember, when we do those numbers come in July or so, and you don't get sometimes the actual quotes on some things until closer to the year end. So we thought we had some estimated costs going in early that was high, that we would be able to reduce, and that's where it was going to make up that $200,000 plus. but there again, came in a little higher than we anticipated.
Got it. So tell me then about the conflict between the commissioners and the county council. I don't think there's any secret that there is conflict there. How do you think that that should be resolved?
Well, obviously, and it takes all 10 to run county government, and thank goodness when the state constitution was set up, there was wisdom there that give a check and balance of executive power and physical power, and it will work itself through. Running a county is a lot like a ship on the ocean. You don't turn it around immediately. What you have to do is keep it upright at all times, and it'll sway this way and that way. But council and commissioners, through the 20 years that I've soon be a councilman, have basically got along for the most part, and that'll move forward in a positive fashion. And every new office holder always comes in with something they're going to do or they think they can do, and you find out that either there's statute against it and you can't do it, or if you work in a direction of doing something, it takes 10 times longer than it does in your own business to make that happen. It just the nature of government.
Got it. Now, is there anything else that you think the people of Clinton County should know going into this election about how their local government works and perhaps what obstacles lie ahead?
Well, there's always those unforeseen obstacles. We've got, some very positive things going on right now. Having this past year just opened with IB Tech. There's construction going on in the downtown area of Clinton County. There's construction going on in 200 West. East Side Drainage has recently just basically been done. So, I think for the growth of the community, we've got to go more towards 65, obviously, to bring a tax base in that can keep the taxes lower for the homeowner and so on.
What's the trade-off going to be with that? What's the downside of having to expand? Will it cost more for services to provide further out towards 65, or what's the work that has to be done?
Well, as a few years ago, a couple of years ago, we pushed infrastructure with the city west as far as 450 West, putting a new water tower out there at the Jefferson interchange. It also then let the water and sewer lines go on around and back down zero, which you didn't need those kind of sewer lines on zero, but look here in the last week, the announcement of ConAgra, it set up that additional 300 acres there for a plant. There's some other available grounds out there at that west end of that industrial park that will grow and help the community. I think those are some things we've got going forward. With ConAgra, 350, which is the road of what most people know as the old Maury, which is the NIDAC plant, has to go north, so that will have to be cut from. There's debate whether it'll be 375, which is right beside Custom Building Products, to go rebuilt over to the ConAgra facility, or 350. Both are being engineered and looked at right now, but those will be funds and are needed improvements in the community. And with ConAgra coming, the state will be there to help us with that road. Excuse me,
Oh, you're
not
fine.
what you need.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm sure that we could talk for hours, but I do appreciate your time. And if you have any last comment, you're more than welcome to share it.
You know, I have voted for 20 years, and I've voted no on a lot of things. I've voted no when there's been a lot of additional money wanted to be spent because we didn't have the revenues there. I've always voted for the community as a whole. I have no personal gain. I have no family in county government, no relatives, that I'm trying to help or employ a certain office. I've been there for the community as a whole.
Got it. Well, I'm sure that we will hear more from you in the future since we are still a little ways out from the primary election on May 6th. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, Mr. Frey, and we'll look forward to talking to you more.
Thank you. I enjoyed being with you.
Thank you.